Patrick Moriarty is the new Director of International Programmes at IRC, and he's Director of the Triple-S Project. Patrick sees the WASHCost and Triple-S projects as vital to change processes in countries. But what kind of changes are these projects seeking to make?
Honestly, what I mean by change processes in the country is that people begin to work in a different way, that people begin to do their jobs differently, that they begin to think differently, that they begin to understand what their role is differently, and particularly in the case of rural water services, that they begin to understand that their job is to provide a service to people rather than to build projects. You know, the sector is full of people who are very good project implementers who have years and years of experience of building hand pumps or creating latrines or designing and doing tenders for small pipe networks, but there's a dearth of experience in how you make those last over time. And one of the bits of data, one of the bits of information, knowledge that we were lacking was, you know, how much does that cost and how much money would we need if we wanted to make services more sustainable. In my experience, and not just from this project, but other projects, I say absolute minimum is probably 3 years, and that's to begin getting some sort of traction at the very top of the system, and maybe with a handful of people you're working with in a district or in a pilot. I think to make any sort of significant difference, you know, at the scale of a nation, or, you know, you're probably talking minimum, absolute minimum of 5 years if everything goes extremely well. With our Triple-S project, the Sustainable Services at Scale, I think what we're looking for in terms of success is, as a first step, in a similar to WASHCost, to see that the sector begins to conceptualise, or different people in the sector begin to think about their jobs in a different way. But because Triple-S has the advantage of starting after WASHCost, we expect to see a lot of movement in terms of people actually doing their jobs in a different way. I think particularly what we'll be looking for, and again this comes from WASHCost and has been picked up in Triple-S, is to see significantly more money, time, attention being put into what we call direct support costs. In other words, to providing support to communities managing their water supply systems after the things have actually been built. Well, you know, the first thing you're looking for is that people begin to be familiar with the concepts and to use some of these concepts in their talk. So for instance, we get very excited when the minister in Ghana talks about the need to think more about sustainability. We get very excited when the chief of the Community Water and Sanitation Agency talks about the need for a paradigm shift from project delivery to service delivery. The second step is that we want to begin to see, particularly from WASHCost, we'd like to see a difference in where the money's going. So do some donors, do some projects begin to put more money and time and effort and capacity building into things that aren't directly related to projects, to things that happen after the project's built? Do they put money into building monitoring systems? Do they put money into supporting the capacity of district water and sanitation teams to move around? I think we're, you know, in Ghana we're extremely lucky because the skills and that we've built up in our teams, the data that we've begun to collect, we're beginning to get, you know, the desired movement. They're beginning to help us to trigger the change that we want to see in Ghana, but we're far from finishing that. We're far from really taking that to major scale, and so we're very lucky to have another project with a similar, the broader range of interests to WASHCost, which is going to at least keep us going until 2014. And I'm very confident that, you know, by 2014 we will see real and measurable change.